Before I start, I would like you all to close your eyes and imagine a 15-year-old girl dressed in a traditional attire to look like an adult female, being taken to meet her prospective groom and his family. She can clearly see her soon to be future, full of ambiguities, pain, and her life failing too early. She is feeling helpless and numb, and all she can do is to cry on her own fate. Before your imagination goes further, let me tell you, this is not another story to sympathize. This is a story of strength, of resistance, of resilience, and rising. Life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. And I chose to say no to child marriage. Now, you may open your eyes. Hello, everyone. I'm Manorma, presently working as a data scientist, supporting my family of 8 members. Being the eldest in 7 children, my sense of responsibilities started at a very early age. I saw the birth of my siblings and a burning desire of a family to have a son. We are 6 sisters and 1 brother. My brother, youngest of the lot, is a special child with 90% permanent disabilities. When I was in class 2, I saw on the TV men wearing yellow hats and working to create something unique. The little me then decided to become an engineer. What is an engineer? What type? I knew nothing, but I got oriented to become an engineer. However, being a girl child and the eldest, the pressure of getting married started at a very early age of 15, and so would have been the fate of my younger sisters. I could see my dreams of becoming an engineer getting shattered. But then there was a turning point. I was awarded with Udain Shalini Fellowship, and it has been a great support system all along. With my mentors, I felt that I have a safe space to share and express my feelings, my desires, my goals. And I must say that I have gained a lot of confidence through workshops and peer interactions. Few months passed, I got an opportunity to attend a residential camp at one of the Udain Ghars for a week. As I was painfully aware that the discussion of my marriage would soon culminate as a serious matter to solve for, so I discussed about it with one of my mentors. When I reached home after the camp, not to my surprise, the first thing I got to know in the morning that there was a marriage proposal waiting for me, and entire family started pressurizing me to meet that potential groom. As soon as I refused, there was a lot of chaos and an emotional family drama started. I spoke to my relatives, mentors, and begged them to convince my parents otherwise. At last, nothing worked, and I was forced to board the train to meet the prospective groom. But a hope in my heart was still alive that a miracle would stop it. So I continued studying for my engineering entrance exam, even on that day long journey. The days spent in the village were the most painful. I did not eat or drink, I just cried. I wanted to study, but there was no support from anyone. Everybody tried to suggest that I continue my education after marriage. But I was well aware of the fate of a young married girl, as I've seen many of my cousins who got married at an early age. When I met the boy, I didn't even look at him. I was constantly looking at the floor. I was crying, and tears slipped from my eyes. Something in that moment struck my father, and he was moved by my unwillingness. He then refused the proposal, and we were back to our home. In that moment of helplessness, yet self belief and strength to hold my ground, earned me a reprieve for next 4 years that I needed for my engineering degree. A few months later, I got admission into an engineering college, and I was in top 2 of my class throughout. In 2012, I became the first girl in my entire village and the extended family to earn an engineering degree. After the ordeal I went through in resisting child marriage, my sisters were spared from the trauma. Now they are free to pursue their education and fulfill their dreams. My heart fills with pride whenever I learn about girls from my village, drawing inspiration and walking the path I led. After graduation, I started working and thought that life will finally be sorted. However, after 2 years, in 2014, life slapped me with one of the hardest blow in my face, a sudden demise of my father, a separation forever, that too, without bidding the goodbye. So overnight, I became the head as well as sole bread earner for my family of eight. All of you have heard that an educated woman can educate the entire family. I would like to modify that. An educated woman not only educates the entire family, but uplifts and leads it too. Today, I am proud to say that while fulfilling my responsibilities, I got married in 2016 to the partner of my choice, navigating extreme casteism. I managed and supported all the expenses as well as social negotiations of my marriage on my own. My younger sisters are on the path to fulfill their aspirations and dreams. I was, and now with the added support of my husband, continue to support them. One of my sisters is about to complete her master's in arts. One has completed diploma in medical electronics and is about to join a company. My brother is attending special school. What I have learned from my journey so far is never feel afraid of pursuing your aspirations. Don't stop with the fear of near term consequences. Make big choices right for the long run. From all I could do is cry to become an uplifting system for my family. There are lots of barriers that I have broken, and so can you.